Brandon,
Mm-hmm.
Trump's in a peach.
Oh, he's in a real big peach. Like a James-sized peach, actually.
It's James and the giant peach. I guess we're starting off without a non-sports thing for the first time in our podcasting career.
History. We're breaking new grounds here, folks.
We have an open concept of podcasting now. It's kind of cool. We don't have much to say on it, I'm assuming. I don't think you have a ton to say on it.
Nope.
Basically, Trump got impeached round 2. So
see what happens there, yeah.
Doesn't mean a whole lot. He's out, was it next week anyways, or
no,
this
but
week?
You know what, though? It actually does mean a whole lot for his, like, after presidency,
Yes,
you know?
That's what I would
like, you don't get any of the little Secret Service. You don't get any of the retirement funds. Like, you just, like, you get struck.
You can't run again is the other thing, too.
You get sent to exile, pretty much.
It's great. It's great. I love it. Whether it goes through or not, who cares? It doesn't matter at this point. He's already
a third time. Let's just make some real history here, you know?
Do
Impeach
another
him 3 times and just,
the day before he's supposed to leave, do another one.
Yeah, how many days you got? You got like a couple days. You're good.
Yeah. Why not? I love it. So that was the second biggest news of the week. The biggest news of the week came out of the NBA, actually, which was wasn't a shock in the fact that James Harden was traded, but just like it seemed to come out of nowhere on the day of.
Dude, I think the shock was like how in depth the trade was and how quickly it seemed to just like happen. Like that must not have been the first conversation, obviously, because like that was so fast.
Planned out for a while.
Yeah.
It was a weird trade though, because it just started off as this 3-team trade, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, by the way, Oladipo is being traded too.
Yeah, dude, which I love. I love that. What a steal by the Rockets. I think the Rockets made out like complete bandits here.
I think lots of teams made out really good in this trade, and I don't think the Nets are one of them.
No. And like I agree that it's not the same thing as like Pierce and Garnett because they're not old, right? Like James Harden is still very much in his prime.
They're arguably in their prime or like just at the end of their prime.
James Harden's prime is to score.
Yes.
James Harden's prime is not defense.
No.
It is not like playmaking for sure. He has the ability because the ball starts in his hand. But like now, when Kyrie decides to come back, if he decided to come back, I don't know.
Is it this time? Like who handles the ball on that team?
Like, okay, so when the Rockets usually came up floor, it'd be like he would carry the ball up because like that's how the team was just centered around him. You know what I mean? Like,
but they didn't have a Kyrie. I would argue that Kyrie's a better ball handler.
That's what I'm saying though. Is like how is it now with James Harden coming off the ball? Like how are you gonna like he's gonna be able to have probably a little more open shots, but like is he gonna be able to do that?
It's crazy because you're taking these 3 guys that have like one of the biggest attitudes in basketball, arguably. Like this is 3 of the bigger attitudes in basketball. I put Russ on the list too, obviously. Yeah. But how are you going to make that work in Brooklyn with 3 guys that are just noted issues, I would say, apart from
this is what James Harden walked away from back in, I think it was the 2012 offseason. Like OKC made a run to the finals, got completely slapped by a way like more,
they weren't good enough.
Miami team. No. And instead of going back, he said, I want to be the guy. And he left. He went to a different team that was like, we're going to build around you. And that's fine. We continue to build around you. Mm-hmm. And now, though, he's going into a situation where he's like going to be guy number 2, maybe 3. I get like probably 3.
Yeah.
But looking like maybe 2 if Kyrie decides like, you know what I mean? That's, I think, the wild card there is that if Kyrie doesn't come back, then it's a lot easier.
It's wild because, like, I think these 3 guys like to be the star on a team, and you kind of seen it in the way they've made their moves in their career so far. But you're moving to a team that already has 2 stars, and it's like, how long are you going to last in a spot where you can't be the number 1 guy?
Right. And, like, he showed it the first time, right? Like, since then, he's always been the number 1 guy. It doesn't matter if it was Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, who's come through there. They were guy number 2, and that was it. It didn't matter. And they knew that. Yeah. Now you're going to a team, though, that, like, Steve Nash is not going to give you...
Oh, poor Steve Nash, man.
For your first season?
Your first year ever as a coach, and you're dealing with these 3 on the
Not
on
only...
the team.
Yeah, like, KD, he's fine to me, you know what I mean? He's there to play, and he seems like he's coming out to prove that his injury is not going to slow him down any bit, which is cool. I enjoy his style of play. But, like, Kyrie, not sure what's going on, as I've said. Like, why
missing? He's MIA.
Why is that a real thing? Like,
insane.
Not sure. And then now James Harden gets thrown into the mix, and now you have 2 big personalities there.
I would say 3.
Fair enough.
Harden and Kyrie for sure are real interesting personalities. And then you've seen what KD is online, and like the personality he has and like the way he just conducts his business. He doesn't seem like the biggest personality, but like he's got that attitude to him that it's just like he is larger than life.
Yeah. And these guys have shown that if the going gets tough, they're going, right? They're not getting in it. They're going to pack their bags and leave. So what scares me is not only the confirmed 3 picks going over, which are like within
down
range,
the road, right?
Right, which is like next year, or maybe this year coming.
Yeah.
So no, this year is a swap.
This one
pick,
probably won't be a great pick.
No, but I don't think they have to swap this year.
No.
And then next year is a guaranteed one. Like on the even years, it's guaranteed pick.
Right.
So like after 22, 23, you're within a range where these 3 guys could say we're high talent.
All 3 of them. They have opt-outs apparently.
Right. So now you're in a position where you could just say, okay, man, we're going to swap the worst pick. And you're getting better now too, right? Like they're probably going to convince, I could see them convincing Oladipo to stay there and to play and to kind of build around him. And like John Wall is coming back with some steam. I don't think he's elite anymore by any sense.
No, but he's still a high quality player that you can put on your roster. They definitely, I don't think they're better right now, but they're better for the future with this move than they would have been with just letting him walk. I like the move for the Rockets. I think it was
picks is not bad either, and you now have you not only
especially
get,
in the NBA
the potential to draft, but you get the potential to trade with them now too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the Rockets could go about now. They just gave themselves way more room to maneuver, like almost the same way that the Thunder did when they were like, we're just going to trade things off for picks. And now it's like, okay, we could wait and draft players and build around this, but also if we want, we could trade. Yeah. And it's so much better.
I think the funniest thing, I saw a tweet the other day about it, but they were talking about Kyrie. Mm-hmm. And the tweet was that Kyrie left LeBron in Cleveland because he didn't want to be the Robin to his Batman. Now he's sitting here in Brooklyn as the Alfred. Like, that's so true, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that like he left already. It's because he didn't want to be the number 2, but now he's the number 3. And like it'll be real interesting to see how that works down the road.
It's not going to, like, unless he has a plan to split them up. Because one thing I've noticed now is Brooklyn has given away a lot of their bench. They've got no bench depth. No. So unless you're planning on like a divide and conquer tactic where like, James is going to get his time with just James and maybe Kyrie and James might pair up for a bit and KD, like, what I mean? They start all 3 of them, but then after the tip off, it's situational. It's, what I mean? They're not together. They're, because that's like the only way that's going to work now. Like you're going to have Joe Harris by himself.
It's wild. They went for like a big star approach as opposed to having a full team. Mm-hmm. It's a weird approach. I mean, like I know Golden State had their big 3 or 4 that they ran with for a while, and that was it. But like at least their bench pieces could do something. Like they had Iggy
Andre
for a while,
and Sean Livingston.
Yeah, there were little pieces that weren't like studs by any means, but they were serviceable NBA players that you could put in and count on.
And they didn't need to be scoring because the guys up front could score. Right, they didn't need to be able to put. They just need to put like consistent buckets in. Make the looks that you get, but not take over anything from the game plan.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm kind of glad the Raptors didn't make this move.
No, I didn't think it was ever in their books. And the reason why is Masai is his 1 year. This is last year as it stands right now.
Yeah.
Why do that to a team that you say you enjoy? And like with the potential of coming back, like that doesn't fit your system. That doesn't do anything.
No. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fill a hole. Like arguably your 2 best players right now, maybe your second and third, but they're in your backcourt. Right. And you don't need to bring in James Harden to improve that backcourt. Like you don't have a lot of pieces as it is that you can offer up in that trade. And if you got to give away a guy like Pascal, like if you're giving away Pascal in that deal, you now have your only 3 good players are in your backcourt.
And you don't show a lot of loyalty because you just paid Pascal. Like this is the first year on his big deal.
I think so, yeah. Second year, you're going to give up on him because he's had a rough stretch of like a month total of basketball playing time.
This is an adjustment for everybody, right? Like, man, nobody expected this team to win the championship, and still within getting the 8th to like 5th seed. Like chances are you have maybe an above average winning record, but not very much. Sometimes you're even, and usually at 8 you have a losing record and you're still
Yep.
Like you're going to be fine.
I feel for the Raptors too because they won that championship because Kawhi came in and Kawhi is elite. He's elite in this league and he'll help teams win everywhere he goes. But because of that, they now kind of have this expectation around him And even last year in that series with Boston, they were going into it probably as the underdog, if not even on it. And it's one of those things that people look at it now and they expect them to win. So when they lose series like that, or they start this year the way they did, it looks so much worse.
But some of those games are one bucket games.
Yeah,
like a lot of those
almost
games are
all of
close.
them have been. They've had big leads.
Yeah,
Or they're in it at the end.
There's good points of it and there's bad points of it, obviously. And I think you know what I think going 3-8 is justified. They deserve it and they know it, and that's only going to push them harder. Right? This team isn't going to just back up and say we're done now. We're 3-8. That's it. Season over.
Yeah. As much as everyone's harping on the Raptors for being 3-8 and not being the team they were last year or the year before and all that, they could easily be 8-3, and I wouldn't be all that surprised based on the games that they've played.
But like, are we sitting here convinced that this is the team that's going to bring us back to the championship? Like,
absolutely not.
As it stands right now, this is not going to be the case.
No, I think we need to temper expectations on what we thought the Raptors were going to be, obviously, but I don't think they're as bad as what we're seeing.
No, and I don't. Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what is going to be done to this team. I think that's why everyone's kind of just waiting, and we probably won't know until the very last minute because that's kind of where it is. It's such a shortened season that things are coming up a lot quicker. There's less time to decide what you want to do with your team and which direction you want to go. So, but being in that middle ground is tough.
Yeah, right? It's weird. It's tough. It's tough as I'm not a big Raptors fan. Like, I'm not a big basketball fan, so it's not huge for me. But like for the diehard Raptors fans that have watched this team be so successful for so long now, it's got to be tough just sitting here and watching this being like, man, we had it all, and.
But you've lost, a lot of the core pieces to that, so it's understandable. And you're building from that. And you can only hope, though, that, you knew there was going to be a drop-off. You can only hope that this is kind of as low as it goes.
Yeah. And
they're going to learn from here, and they're going to move up from this way. So.
Yep. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
The
NHL started. We're back. We have things to watch. It's great.
Oh, my goodness. It was great to listen this morning to the radio, just talking about all the hockey that's happened, all the hockey that's going to happen.
Yes. So nice, man. I have something to do every night. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Before we get into the season, all that, there was news before anything even started that we'll get into first. First and foremost, your guy, Corey Crawford.
My boy. He decided to hang him up. Yeah, man. He's decided to hang up the skates, after 10 seasons. Just, I think he agreed to a contract with New Jersey, 2 years. But just decided not couldn't come back this year. Wasn't in the right headspace, I think, to do so. So, it's definitely a tough season to get yourself into. I'm intrigued
as to whether or not he was hurt or he just wasn't having it. I don't really. Obviously, he dealt with that vertigo thing,
right?
And that could be a big factor,
which kept him out for a pretty long while. And injury has definitely taken him back playing. Yeah, absolutely. So. But no, there wasn't really much on it too, which is kind of weird. That's what I noticed.
Quietly just swept it under the rug. This is a guy who I think statistically had his best year of his career last year, did he not?
Well, probably faced like 600 shots. He would.
Yeah, he was actually really good last year, and it looked like Pete Corey Crawford. I don't know if it was statistically, but it was up there among the best years in his career. And this is a guy that has 3 Stanley Cups now, or is he only a part of 2? 2?
Yep.
I mean, for him to come out last year and do that, you kind of think, he still got it. Maybe he can play 2 more years, but I don't. Obviously, there's something going on there for him, and
which is fine, man. Because you know what, I think especially because you go to New Jersey, he's Canadian, you're now stuck in the States, and that could be a really hard commitment to make,
especially right now. It's a tough time for everybody.
You are stranded over there, right? It's going to be incredibly difficult to come away from that. So.
He's got a family and all of that. It's one of those things. It's tough to be apart from your family for that long.
Yeah. But man, 10 years as a goalie, like that, I think that deserves a lot of respect.
10 years, he's got 2 Stanley Cups in those 10 years. That's pretty good. He had a hell of a career. I don't think he's Hall of Fame level goaltender, but everyone gets in the NHL, so who knows?
I mean, it seems like if you got a cup, you're kind of in.
Yeah, for it. He's got 2 of them. He's a part of some great teams.
Absolutely, I think the dynasty of the Chicago Blackhawks, like they're gonna get a really big nod. Like Marian Hossa being the first one.
Yep.
To go, he was a key element in those cups.
Yep.
And then so you go.
And then obviously Kane, Taves, Keith,
probably Seabrook. That's what I mean. Like Seabrook could even sneak himself in there. Not having the greatest career, but
everyone forgets about how great Seabrook was in the beginning of his career because he's just been so bad ever since.
That money was just deserved by everybody. Like,
Yep,
you know what I mean? Like, Kane and Taves getting the same amount of money was perfect.
Yeah.
Signing Seabrook, like, I understood it, but I knew there was going to be a year that was just, it was a drop off.
It sucked. You were paying him for what he'd been because you got such a great deal on him for so long. But
there's a good chance that I never have to see Kane play against me. I never have to see Taves play against me. Like, those guys are going to be part of my team until the very end. And I love that. I respect that so much. I hope.
Because there's been talks, but
as
I
this
don't
can
hope.
hope.
The hope coke.
That,
the hope coke. Yeah. Other big piece of news came out. I was shocked. Evander Kane filed for bankruptcy, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But he filed $28.5 million in bankruptcy. Something. I think it was.
Okay, but I read a little more into that, like 3 homes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's some shit.
But he only has $10 million in properties.
Right. And then like more debt on that. Like
this is a guy that made $40 million in contract. Obviously, he's not getting all that money, but he made his contract equal up to over $40 million before that time. And he's one of the highest paid players in the NHL right now. And he is $28 million in bankruptcy.
Yeah, that's bad, eh?
Oof.
Like, dude, the last player I think to actually say that they've gone bankrupt was Jack Johnson. Which was like, what, 2006?
And that's such a wild situation in itself because his parents basically robbed him of all his money.
Absolutely. He didn't even know.
If you haven't heard it, look it up because it's insane.
Yeah. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
Guzzled all his money, and like that's reasonable. I understand how you get to that.
This is like just him.
What the hell? How do you get to this? I understand he's had gambling issues from what I've heard.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe that plays into it, but like $28.5 million?
I mean, that makes sense. He gambles his life every time he goes up against Reeves, so who is going to have a field day, by the way. I cannot wait. I'm so happy. 10 times a year, man.
Yeah.
10 times this year, they are going to see each other.
I think yes and no, because I think obviously it's a real shit situation for Kane, and at any point in time you can shred him for this, but Revo is a genuine human being, and he's not going to go after you for like life issue. Like he's not that heartless that he's going to be like, man, you're a fucking blowout.
Why not? If the animosity builds to that degree,
because like they don't like each other, but he's not a bad person. Is the thing. Is like he understands you have issues on the side. He's not going to go after that. There's lots of guys who would. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think he'll maybe face some sort of backlash for it then from someone. Maybe not Revo, but
yeah, it'd be interesting. A little bit more news. Mark Stone became the first captain in Vegas history. Well deserved. I mean, he's not a Vegas loyal guy yet, but he is signed there, and he is their best player, I would say.
Yeah, I think he's a good guy on the ice. I'm sure off the ice too. Brings a lot to that team. Probably has a big voice out there. So but a really dynamic and I think underrated two-way player.
Definitely underrated because that guy is arguably he's not even arguably, he's the best two-way player in the game.
Yeah.
He's a great scorer.
Oh, absolutely. And he just, no matter what team he's on, no matter what situation he's in, he seems to just produce.
Yeah.
And just confident to be in there.
About him.
No, ever. I don't feel like anybody ever mentions Mark, especially for the continued success of Vegas, because Vegas was just brought into the league. They had a good year first year, and to continue that, they went out and they got Mark Stone. And then
he's been great then. He was so good in that playoff run.
Dude, I know. And they're keeping that team, right? They just keep building on it. Robin Leonard, unreal. Sign him back to a contract.
Crazy, man. That team's so good. I don't understand how they've been so good.
Yeah, then you go get Pietrangelo, for somehow, some way. Trade stats. You keep players there that you know are going to produce in this system.
Yeah. I think he'll be a great leader on that team.
I think he's an excellent first captain for sure. Yeah.
It's a great pick. I love it.
Yeah.
Dylan Larkin was also named captain.
Yep.
Red Wings. Realistically, you have two choices on that team. It was him or Mantha.
Yep.
And I don't think you can go wrong either way.
It's interesting to think though, he's the first one since Zetterberg, and that's a long time for a historic franchise to go without a captain. That's really interesting. You know what I mean? There's some big names who have donned that seat in that jersey. You know what I mean? So to just have a point where you just don't have anything. That really must have been something for that franchise.
For such a historic franchise too, it's kind of weird to see for so long. I didn't know that actually. That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of interesting that they went Larkin over Mantha, just based on like the Canadian versus the American. Like you have the true purebred American and Dylan Larkin, who ends up getting the C for like arguably America's team in Detroit, who's been like
fair.
one of the biggest teams in America since their introduction.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. I don't think they were thinking that way, but
I think he's
it's a
pretty
better fit.
deserving of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just he works hard everywhere. He's another like great, I think, two-way player. Obviously not to Mark Stone level, but he works hard on both.
Fast as hell, dude.
Yeah, dude, he's
so
speed.
quick.
Yeah,
Incredible skater.
yeah.
He's one of only two bright spots on that team, so he really didn't have very many options.
No,
and
I'm glad they picked
I
something
respect
up.
that they did. So it was cool. But hockey, we can talk about it now because we've gone through the information that didn't matter.
To the real shit now.
The Leafs are 1-0.
Barely.
Barely. They did squeak that win out. Thank you to Drouin for throwing it at the ref instead of taking a look and seeing the 6 feet on either side of him. And I love that Habs fans are complaining about it. They're like, the ref gave him the win. It's like, well, Drouin didn't take a look. He had the boards and he threw it up the middle, or like the middle of the behind the net there. I'm like, throw it up the boards and you're safe. The ref knew that. What kind of idiot throws it in the middle like that? Dumbass.
Fine. We'll take it.
Yeah,
we'll
take it. It's a win. It's an ugly win, but it's a win. Montreal,
tough.
I think everyone's overrating what they're gonna be, but they are gonna be a tough team to play against.
But it's not what they're gonna be like. I'm not thinking that they're gonna be like tough by any stretch, but they're gonna make you work for it every game.
See, but you're not. But there's lots of people out there that are putting them first or second in the division, and I'm like, no.
You can't.
How do you take this team? Like my thought process here is this team was 24th in the NHL last year. And you look at their offseason moves and what did they improve on?
Grit.
Yeah, which they didn't need. They needed to score.
But they made the ice look small.
Yep.
And
for sure.
First game, I'll give credit to Josh Anderson. He's now doubled his goals from last year. All of last year, he's doubled it now.
Yep.
That's not going to happen every single game. Okay.
No, that was a great game from Josh Anderson, and it kind of put my foot in my mouth a little bit because I'm like, well, Josh Anderson's not really that helpful. Like, what's he going to do for this team? And then he goes out and pops off 2 goals, one of which should have been stopped.
He will be good. Like, he'll be contributing in the sense that he fits into that grind him system. Like, they're gonna grind you down. They're gonna get those gritty goals, man. Like Suzuki's goal was from the side of the net. Like, the angles weren't always the prettiest, right? They weren't easy goals, but they were like right where they needed to be, right? And that's the thing about Montreal is they're gonna be a lot of right on the spot.
They're annoying. They're a pain in the ass.
Absolutely.
They're the Islanders without the coach.
Right. And they work hard, man. It seemed like forever rotation of their forwards of like just average dudes doing really average things and keeping the game going and keeping it tight.
That's the thing is you said it perfectly there. They're average dudes, and I think their whole team is really average.
Yep.
But to me, it's just like in this Canadian division, there's so many teams that have elite level talent, not just average, like they have or good. There's some elite lines on all of these teams. And I think in order to beat them, you have to be able to. You're gonna have to play perfect every single night.
Oh, dude.
Because even when they're having an off night, like Edmonton showed it last night, they weren't really that good last night.
No.
But McDavid showed up and scored 4 points, and they won 5.
Yeah, he has the ability to do that.
Exactly.
Just saying, I'm going to take over this game.
Your team. They were scoring at a wicked pace to start the game, and it was 3-2.
Right.
And it's just they don't have they can outscore you, but you have to be perfect if you're Montreal because they can't keep up with the scores.
No, they won't be able to, at least to that degree of 4 goals. I don't think that's going to be consistent. Like, one thing you will always get, I think, is Carey Price. And, I feel like a lot of people kind of got fooled with, the Jake Allen edition, the Anderson edition, the coming out of Nick Suzuki in the playoffs. You got to sustain that all year, right? And, Jake Allen will help, but, dude, we've seen Jake Allen.
We've seen one good year at a Jake Allen.
Right. We've seen him at his best. We've seen him at his worst.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to get?
Exactly. It was the thing for me, too, is everyone's like, oh, well, did you see Suzuki and Kotkaniemi in the bubble? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the bubble, so it's a very different situation.
But
and we're talking now about an entire season. But
you're dealing with professionals who are going to go, okay, if those are the guys, then we're gonna strategize against them now. And once you get the heat on you, man, going back to basketball, Pascal has shown that once you get the heat on you, it's a whole different game.
Exactly.
And this is going to be the same thing for them.
It's a lot. Nick Suzuki, great, incredible talent. I think he's easily the best player on that team. Yep. But if you have the other team's best D-man zeroing in on you all game, it's a lot harder to score. And you've seen that from almost every goal scorer in the league is like
Or
you
even the
get
forward,
locked out on games.
Even the other center going there, like just like being on him, like you know what I mean.
Yep,
If they
exactly.
pay more attention to you, it's going to be a lot harder to get to
tough.
open. Yeah, and to do that for the whole season, especially playing teams 9 times, you're going to get to know everybody's like game plan. There's only so much new shit you can show somebody in a season before it's new shit to you.
This
You
is
know
the
what I mean?
point where talent and systems are going to prevail because eventually, like, you're going to know how to shut teams down.
Yep.
And you're going to know what this team can bring, and you know how to play against that.
You get 9 to 10 looks at it, and
you just got to be able to.
Talented players are going to walk in and show you why they're talented players.
Yeah, you just got to be good enough to beat what the other team's bringing at you. And I just don't see anyone on Montreal that does that. That gives me that much hope. If they do it, good for them.
Yeah.
But I just don't see it right now.
No.
On to the team that actually matters of the two. Nylander looked fantastic.
Dude, he got himself in good situations, like good spots, great assists too.
That's the best shooting I've seen in that game and the blue and white game. The best shooting I've seen from Nylander since his rookie year.
He looks confident.
Oh my God, he looks strong on the puck. He looks bigger, but like faster somehow.
Yeah.
He blew by
like more powerful when he skates almost.
I forget who was in overtime, but he just blew by him and like looked incredibly fast, but like effortlessly. Like he looked like he was barely moving and just down the ice.
No, I love it. It was really nice.
Great. Matthews had a game. He wasn't on the score sheet, but he was around. He was a pain in the ass.
I was pretty disappointed in the one chance with Marner where he threw it kind of behind him, and it kind of put Marner in a weird spot, like to not even get a big enough shot off. And no doubt, like Carey Price was probably in a really good position to save it either way. But you want to see something harder, you want to see something more challenging, and you want to see kind of like a better pass from that.
Yeah, he's gonna get shut out from time to time because, like we said, you zero in on guys like that,
and that's
especially if you're Montreal, they played him enough.
Right. And that's going to adjust for him as well, right? Is that like players are going to have seen him as well too, right? As we're talking about that zeroing in on guys, like Austin Matthews is going to be a guy that you circle on the game
every
sheet,
single time. You look when Toronto's coming to town and you go, "Hey, Austin
Matthews, that's the guy." Yep.
As star-studded as Toronto is, Austin Matthews is the straw that stirs the drink on this team.
Yep.
And you worry about him every time he's on the ice.
Yeah.
So he's going to get looks at. The thing, it became a big story too, that I was a little interested with was when at the end of the game there, when he's standing in front of the net, just taking chops from both Weber and Sherrod, on those cross checks. His agent had a really interesting quote about it on Twitter, actually. I'll see if I can pull it up here. But he was basically just talking about how stars are treated in the NHL as opposed to every other sport. And I have it right here. He says, "Great to see NHL hockey back last night. Such amazing athletes and so much speed and skill in the game now. But watching the abuse that star players take is hard to watch. Felt like the 80s with the cross checks in the back and the hacking and slashing. NFL protects QBs. Why don't we?" And I agree with it. When I saw the headline pop up, I'm like, man, you're just bitching about nothing here. But he's got a great point. Where, like, you look at LeBron James in the NBA, the guy gets 400 free throws a night because he gets those calls because he's a star and you don't want people hurting the stars of the game.
Right. You want to see, like, people pay to see the stars play.
Yeah. In the NFL, you see some of the softest roughing the passer calls you'll see because they want to protect the quarterbacks. And, like, you can't really hit the quarterback, like, hard. No. You can hit them, but, like, don't
you have to hit them, like, certain areas. You know, you can't, destroy them the way that you used to.
Because they're the money makers, and they make the league money, and they make teams money, and they make teams better. So why is it that Austin Matthews can stand in front of the net and get his kidneys obliterated from two big dudes, and there's just no calls? And I'm not complaining because it's Austin Matthews. Don't get me wrong. If this is Nick Suzuki in front of the net.
Yeah, no, that I feel like it happens out there, right? We've seen like, a couple of stars even injured from being like Johnny Gaudreau when he got slashed how many times in the finger, and he was injured because of it. Yeah, like it broke a finger, I'm pretty sure. So it happens, and then I feel like they made more of an attention to slashing of the hands. So maybe this is just like the catalyst at the beginning of the season. You know, Gary Bettman. I don't think Gary Bettman has said anything about it yet.
No.
So like to see what he does and to see how the officials go on from this point forward, right? Like if it's that's the first game and that's kind of like example A, then how do you react on this, right? Are you going to change it, or are you just going to leave it and say, you know what, that's hockey? And if you want to go in front of the net, then you're going in front of the net, right? Like I feel like playoffs though, we go to playoffs and we just leave it. Like those are calls that we leave in playoffs because it's just like, dude, this is a war zone. You know what I mean? Playoffs are like whistles away.
It's the weirdest mindset, man. It's just like we just
Right.
forget refs exist in the playoffs. It's nuts.
Yeah. And like
But
anything
regular
happens.
season, like there's 82 games you got to play, and you don't want your biggest names in hockey to be down. Like, what if this is Conor McDavid, man? Like,
Right.
if Conor McDavid goes down on the Oilers for an extended period of time, that team's not going to get as watched because they're not good. Like Leon's okay.
Leon proved
Leon's
they were pretty
good,
okay last time.
Leon's good, but like if you're carrying that team for 40 games, I don't see Leon doing it on his own.
I don't think in this season because of there's no like, you know what I mean? It's a shortened season, right? So everybody's go now. Everybody's like they're started.
Yeah. It's
there's no ease into it anymore. There's
even last year in the playoffs you saw with Petey. Petey gets abused everywhere he goes because he's little. Yeah. But there's just no calls half the time. It's just at some point as the league, you kind of just gotta. You don't have to make it a big public thing and be like, oh, we're telling refs to crack down.
No, and I feel like you might see minor tweaks though, right? Like
at some point as the league, you just got to look at your refs and be like, hey, just keep an eye out for it. And if you see something on guys like this, then maybe make a call just so we kind of lock down on stupid shit like that.
Yep.
And like it's fine.
I agree because you want to see the Stars play and you hate to see somebody get injured, like like a lower back injury because they got cross-checked. Like that's a little aggressive for sure. Being somebody who would go in front of the net, that fucking hurts.
It hurts. It's not fun.
No, I need my spine. I'll damage it myself. I don't need you chopping away at it.
Exactly. It's tough. It's not. It's a story that's going to fade away, and we're not going to hear anything about it. But hopefully,
I think you'll see an adjustment, man. The NHL seems pretty set to protect their players safe. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things was remember how fighting used to be a little more like left alone, and now it's your helmet has to stay on unless accidentally knocked off. They're really big on concussion protocol now. Like that took a lot of attention. So they're not big on suspensions because they still have but like player safety notices some shit, right? Yeah, like George Peros seems like he's pretty all over everything.
They exist.
Yeah,
they're not very good at it, but they exist.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid looked fantastic. I know we touched on it.
I've heard all off season that he looks like on a different planet, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's always looked that way. Like he looks better than he's ever looked.
Yeah.
I know it's 2 games in. I know that you could whatever.
He is already in mid-season form.
Dude, he looks ridiculous. Like you said, 4 points last game where he just took it over against the Vancouver team who's expected to do pretty good. Like
pretty good.
Yeah, we'll touch on it later.
Shut them down in the first game.
Right, and then what we predict, like that's why I put them second because Conor McDavid has the ability to just go like, dude, my game. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
I know you're best guy. I'll see it. That's fine. If you're proving that you can do against Vancouver in the second game.
Yeah. That goal he scored, I don't know if it was the second or the third. I think it was the third goal where he just came flying down the wing and then just basically stopped and then was going full speed to the left, like bang, and then took the shot. I'm like,
whoever says that kid doesn't have a shot, like eat words.
He doesn't have elite shot, but he can shoot.
He's got a precise shot.
He's just got such deception. He's got deception on everything he does and just the way he can move. It's incredible.
I think he's pretty similar with Sid in the sense that they really wait to show you what they're going to do type deal. Like in that situation, like it's really hard to predict what they're doing because they don't give anything away. They're not showing any sort of like tip off.
Yeah.
For the
they have like ridiculously quick hockey IQ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, not only do they know the game, but they know it at such high speeds that
faster than anybody else. Yeah.
He thinks quicker than you do is what it is. It's crazy. He's just both of them are just one step ahead of you every time you try to do anything. It's great. I mean,
even Sid came back on fire.
That goal he scored.
Love it.
He like batted the puck down and like one hand chops it in the net.
Just lose. And that's why like that division, nobody has any fucking idea because like which Ovechkin are you seeing? Which Crosby are you seeing? Which like
you don't know.
You don't know who are you seeing, and it's like Crosby just proved. Yeah, I'm still here, guys. I'm still 87. Like
that division and the North Division are the two that you're looking at. Like this is going to be a fun year. The other divisions, you're like, yeah, this is going to be a season.
I'm excited for the Ovechkin Crosby 9 to 10 games.
10 games.
It's going to be 10 games. Love it.
It's awesome.
Love every second of it. Yeah.
It's going to create like this whole setup is going to create so many rivalries. Even you watch like Vancouver, Edmonton, it's not the biggest rivalry, but you watched last night, the game before, it's going to create because there's already some chippiness there.
And the cool thing is like 3 of those teams will just carry over. You know what I mean? Like usually 3 teams in each kind of division will just stick together when they move back, right? And that's what's so great about it is like Boston, Buffalo, like who would have thought? Like they could create some fucking noise in those games,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden we go back and it's like, dude, everyone's buzzing to the Boston Buffalo games because they're gonna just throw down.
If you're getting hit by the same guys for 10 games in a season, you're gonna
It's
get pissed
annoying.
off.
It's annoying.
It's annoying. Looking at Ben Sherratt's face when he was pushing around Matthews, he was annoying me.
Why
and I'm
do you
not even on
think
the ice.
men's league is one of the chippiest things of all? You play the same, like let's say 5 to 8 teams, whatever, 5 to 9 teams.
Yeah.
The whole season, you play them 3, 4, 5 times, and you're just like
non-contact.
Right. And you just fucking hate them. You see them all the time.
Yeah. You get frustrated. Could you imagine now this guy's hitting you for 60 minutes a night?
Right. Like
and,
this is
like that Ben Sherratt play where he pushed Matthews into the boards after the whistle and they get a little chippy. That's game one.
I love it.
And this is going to happen 9 more times with these guys. It's going to be fun. Not even end of the year, come mid-season, 5 games into this.
We're going to see, like, fights should go up. Honestly, if I don't see an uptick in fights.
I think absolutely. Not only do you play these guys so much, but you're locked down in this, like, you can't really do anything in life right now, and you're just bundled up and frustrated.
If we don't see like a stick over the head, I think I'll be surprised. You know what I mean? Like if we don't see something that crazy,
if
like
we don't have somebody
chase them down with a skate type of deal, like if we don't see that kind of
out here kicking more dudes, just fucking
think about it. You're just stuck with your team, and as this shit gets worse and worse, like you're just gonna be more stuck with these guys. And if you start losing, you're gonna get pissed off. Like
if your team's bad, and you have to keep doing this against the same guys.
You're going to see somebody like hop the boards, just jump into the opposing team's bench.
Someone's going to Miles Garrett a helmet.
just Alex Semin in there. Just, I'm coming at you. That's it. I don't care.
Goalies are going to be throwing haymakers. I'm so here for it. I'm so excited for everything that's coming. Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to touch on in the NHL?
One thing that I feel like deserves a little nod here is Keith Yandle. His consecutive Ironman streak might come to an end because they're gonna healthy scratch him in Florida.
What if they do that? I swear to fucking God!
Like
fire the owner, fire the GM. Goodbye. Send the team somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty.
That's such a scummy move. Your team's not good.
No, and
you can't tell me Keith Yandle's not a top 6 D-man on Florida.
It doesn't sit good. You know what I mean? You can't. You can't do that to the guy.
So disrespectful.
He deserves more than that. I hope that he gets out of that system somehow.
If he gets hurt, that's the only reason that streak should break.
Yeah, if I was not mistaken, I read it was a healthy scratch and
insane.
It just hurts. Like that's the only thing that I think. Yeah, it kind of bummed me out reading it. That's
such a pain in the ass.
Just sit out. Yeah, like do it yourself. You know, he gets suspended like Cogliano did. Don't just.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, mm-hmm. Or like if he's injured or he gets himself booted. Then fine.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna health bomb the guy, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm just kind of reading it a little bit here.
Yeah, they are saying it too.
Like it's just a healthy scratch. It's just that hurts.
That's insane. He had a decent year last year.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have his numbers in front of you or
no?
I'll see if I can get it here.
I got his age. He's 34.
He's not even that old.
No.
Like, it's not like we're running some near retirement man out there to try
tons of money too.
They do pay him tons of money.
And that's how you're gonna do him
on the bench and blow that Iron Man streak.
Yeah,
he had 45 points in 69 games last year as a D-man. I know points aren't that big a deal as a D-man, but like he's a good offensive weapon.
Yeah. What was his plus minus? What he said at?
He was even.
Oh.
But
so was
that's
Florida.
Not bad. Florida's not good.
Florida was not
even
good.
In Florida, that's pretty good.
Okay, but Florida added what? They added Duclair, they added Hornquist.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They lost Mike Matheson.
I think they added Wenberg. Like Radko Gudas. Like these are not names that are going to get you the promised land.
No.
So these are the names that are beating him out. So Aaron Ekblad obviously going to be in your lineup.
Right.
Now Anton Strawman probably because you got him. Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah. There's this weird
Radko Gudas. Radko Gudas is going to play over Keith Yandle.
Uh-huh.
Kyle Connaughton, I think his name is Kevin Connaughton. See, I didn't even get his name right. That's how good he is.
So CBS has their current depth chart as Weegar, Ekblad, Strawman, Stillman, Gudas, Gustav Forsling.
Stillman. Hey, Gustav Forsling. There you go. Perfect.
Who the fuck's Riley Stillman?
Not a clue.
Who the fuck is Gustav Forsling? How are you both playing over
I
Keith?
think
This
Forsling played for
played.
the Blackhawks, and I went.
I
To
didn't realize
Carolina.
how angry about this I was until we brought it up.
I'm saying it bothered me.
That's such a disrespectful move
I
for
was
fucking Radko Gudas.
This is what I'm saying. Florida just loves losing. They don't care. They're like, we're just gonna just stay shit.
Do you know anything about Riley Stillman?
What's that Family Guy song? Everyone from Florida is stupid.
Okay, so Riley
everyone
Stillman's
from Florida is what?
He's a 98 born, so he's 22. So he's a young guy.
Yep.
You're scratching fucking Keith Yandle for a child when you're not good. God damn it! Fuck Florida.
Didn't he have an A? Am I wrong?
I'm not sure.
For a little bit.
You'll have to research this. He might have been. Oh, yep. He definitely was. Right. He was an assistant captain in Florida.
Right.
I don't know if he still currently is, but definitely.
Not anymore. If you're going to be a healthy scratch, that hurts.
I don't even care. Man, trade him. If you're not going to play him, play him until you get him traded.
I hope Florida doesn't win a single game.
Me too. I hope they go 0 and how many games is it? 56 this year? I hope they go 0 and 56.
Did they already win one? I don't know. I don't think so.
No,
they can't play right now. That's right. Yeah. They're part of that haven't played yet. So they're not even on the standings board. I'm looking at the standings and there's teams 1-0, 0-1, and there's not Florida around.
Stupid.
Because they're in the Central, aren't they? Yeah, they'd be in the Central.
They are.
Or no. No, they're in the West.
West.
No, where's Dallas? Not the West.
They're in the Central.
Yeah, that's what I meant. In the Central. So them in Dallas.
That makes sense. Man, brutal. Thank you for bringing that up. I completely forgot about that.
You're welcome.
Such a brutal.
I was disgruntled.
I wasn't until now, and now I'm like,
I can see it. You're frowning. Your face shows it.
Yeah, you're just such a good guy, and you're doing this to him.
You know what? I'm gonna write a letter. Writing a letter.
We're gonna impeach the fucking Florida Panthers GM. Is what's gonna happen.
With a coach, Joe. That's Joe Quenneville.
Oh yeah, I guess he makes the decisions on the. Fuck you, Joel Quenneville.
What the fuck is he doing? You were way better than that. You would have never done that to Keith.
You're better than this.
You would have never done that. You know loyalty. You were a Blackhawk coach. You
had old men playing for your team who didn't need to be there. Patrick Sharp ran his career out in Chicago, did he not? He went to Dallas, and I thought he came back for a little bit. He did.
No, I don't remember.
I thought he came back for a year. And he was not good.
He's never good.
He was okay.
He was there. He was good. He's a good sports analyst.
He's a good-looking guy.
You can't say that. It'll get you in trouble. Dude, Jeremy Roenick got fired over those words.
I know, but he's a good-looking guy. He did. He came back to Chicago. He had 10 goals in 70 games.
That's it. You see me after the pod, okay? We're going to need to talk.
When did Quenneville leave there?
A couple years ago.
Was it 2018?
I believe so.
Did he stay for the 2017-18 season?
I believe so. I believe that was the season.
Played Patrick Sharp.
I can't remember. All I know is that we keep signing this Jerry Collins toddler of a coach, and yet we just...
That's an absolute joke. I'm not happy. We need to move on because I am just going to keep yelling.
We can move on to the other Panthers if you want.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to transition?
Yeah, we might as well. Yeah. Oh, the Panthers they're talking.
So Carolina Panthers football.
Carolina Panthers, thank you.
Yeah.
Talking to Dwayne Haskins about being their next what? Being their next what? There's no way he starts.
I don't know. Maybe. Did they lose Teddy Bridgewater
confidence? No, he signed for 2 more years.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, did they lose confidence in him that fast?
There's no way in hell you could lose confidence in Teddy and have confidence in fucking Dwayne Haskins.
Dude, do you really think he's going to beat the likes of Drew Brees, Tom Brady? That's your division, is it not?
No. God, no. Even if they're 100 years old, that whole division's got good. Matt Ryan's a quarterback in that division. Yeah. Oh my good Lord. He's the worst name available right now.
Yeah. Hey, how are the Carolina hotel rooms? Does he have a chance of really running into some problems here? Or
Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
What is it with strip clubs and professional athletes? What the hell?
James Harden? Thatcher Demko?
Dude, Lou Williams?
Lou Williams, thank you.
It was chicken wings? The wings. I completely understand that. They have the best wings ever.
But Dwayne Haskins?
Dude, I don't get that.
Deshaun Watson wants out. Matt Ryan is open for trade. Yeah. Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Cam Newton bring back. You can bring back Cam Newton. I wouldn't be as pissed.
No.
Dwayne Haskins.
Kirk Cousins is apparently getting ousted in Minnesota. Like you
I
could.
don't want him.
Yeah, no one does. But I'm
I'd
saying.
rather not. I'd rather Dwayne Haskins.
I know. You know what the funniest one was though? Was Philadelphia when they fired Doug Peterson. They're like, yeah, we're gonna keep Wentz too. We think.
Carson Wentz.
No, they don't want to trade him.
But they might.
I know.
Oh,
The most surprising one, dude, was Tua. Tua might not actually have the confidence of Miami.
who was available? Because
Right.
they were talking Tua for Deshaun Watson in a trade. That's
Done.
nuts.
Done deal.
Insane. I'd rather take Gardner Minshew at this point because they're
That's
going to
so
draft
funny.
Trevor Lawrence. I'd rather have Gardner Minshew than Dwayne Haskins right now. His numbers weren't that bad.
Can I just say, like, how is Dwayne Haskins getting another look? But like, Colin Kaepernick, even Johnny Manziel. I would give Johnny Manziel a better look.
Yeah.
I would have given Manziel a way
I
better
would
look
rather
than
see
Haskins.
Tim Tebow come back from baseball and be the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers than have Dwayne Haskins come
Okay,
and be the quarterback.
serious question. Like, I know this is gonna be way off topic, but sort of. Tim
go.
Tebow, do you ever see him making a Major League Baseball team?
No. I think it'd be a really cool publicity stunt, but no, he's not good, especially in the
Isn't he
Mets.
still part of the Mets? Yeah, the Mets are like, fucking, we're good.
He gets traded to like the Marlins, maybe,
Okay.
or like the Pittsburgh. If he gets traded to Pittsburgh, I could see it. But
Dude,
no.
trade him to Colorado. Have him play for the Broncos
Yeah.
and the Rockies.
Yeah, why not? Have fun with it.
Or Florida.
Mile
Yeah,
High
he's
Tebow.
a Florida guy.
Right.
He went to the Gators, didn't he? Yeah, he played for Florida.
The guy, Jesus guy,
Yeah, big Jesus. They're really big down there, remember? God saves,
Good.
Jesus loves.
good looking man.
Thanks for giving me the directions,
Outward
stranger.
couple.
Yeah.
Didn't make a ton of money in his NFL career, but he's a great analyst.
Yeah.
Does a good job on the broadcasts.
Yeah, so anyways,
I'd bring him back
we'll bring him
over
back.
Dwayne Haskins. Absolutely.
Dude.
Absolutely.
That's
And here
so-
we are. I can't believe this is a conversation.
Yeah, I
hate
can't believe
that.
it's a consideration.
I hate this team. I hate them.
He has
I love
coached
them. But I
someone-
hate them.
like, just everyone wait too, because like Sam Darnold, I know Sam Darnold, people think he sucks, but
I would rather Sam Darnold
better than Dwayne Haskins.
in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even give it a second thought.
Now, here's the real
Draft the
question.
quarterback.
Here's the real question.
Taylor Heineke.
Nate Peterman
No.
or Dwayne Haskins?
Quarterback in NFL history. I don't know the exact number, but it's like if he spiked the ball into the ground every single time he took a snap, he would have a better QBR than he did when he finished his career.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has to get picked off. I think it's like 3,000 straight passes in order to have a worse touchdown interception ratio than Nathan Peterman had.
That's hilarious.
It's brutal.
That's so great.
It's brutal. He is not good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is good,
Yeah.
and he's gonna roll this weekend.
Oh, he's the MVP.
Dude. He should be MVP or Josh Allen. Honestly,
Yeah, Josh Allen's
Dude.
great, man.
Josh Allen stepped up. He took over the division for the first time in how many years?
Yeah, it's been
At
the
Buffalo
Patriots
took the
division.
division.
For
Yeah.
how long?
Hurts.
2008 was the last time. Was it?
I think so. Something maybe even
Was-
earlier than that. Yeah, since I think Tom Brady was injured.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just like Aaron Rodgers is gonna roll. I think this weekend he looks really good. It's supposed to be frozen. It's supposed to be snowing. I think.
Yeah.
So
He's an absolute lunatic.
he knows how to
though.
work that. Yeah.
Yeah, he can go out there in the snow and just get her done. It's
And, like, you-
it's not. an
Played
issue.
in LA for the whole season, man. That's not gonna help you here. It ain't warm.
Goff's got one hand.
Oh
Your
my
backup
God.
is Blake Bortles.
Yeah, dude. But Goff like beat Seattle with one hand.
Yeah, I think
He just
Seattle
handed
beat
it off
Seattle.
with the other one. He was like, "Here,
personally.
this one works."
I think Seattle beat Seattle because Goff really
Yeah.
didn't have the numbers. But if Goff can't play, you're
And like
definitely-
the thing is that Green Bay has like a legitimate running game, whereas Seattle doesn't.
their defenses look better lately too. So
Yeah.
they're kind of more of a complete team than they were at the beginning of the year.
Is Aaron Donald healthy?
I'm not 100% sure. I can look it up.
Because like
But-
we know Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey's like the best player in the league. Holy fuck!
Yeah.
He just puts on everyone. He has
He-
no chill.
Just ruthless. And like you
Oh.
have that defense, unbelievable.
He's in every ball, like literally
So-
around every ball.
He feels no pain. I feel healthy, is what he said.
Perfect. He'll disrupt Rodgers a bit, but Rodgers has always shown that big playability on the run. Like and like especially with the weather. The weather is like they used to say the same thing about Tom Brady. Like when he plays in the cold, he just plays better because he's used to it. and he's been used to it, and that's where Aaron Rodgers has always been in Green Bay. He's used to that cold weather. He's used to the winter. Like, was it one
He's a
game he
lunatic,
balled?
dude. He
Yeah, it was
loves
one
the
game
winter.
this year where it was like
He
really
loves it.
snowy. He had
He
3
loves
TDs in the
snow.
first half. Like,
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, you know what, snowing, let's run the ball, and he's like, no, let me sling 60-yard passes to Devontae.
right?
Adams.
He's like, I could do this. It's fine. I'll figure it out.
Don't worry about me. They can run the ball.
He is that good, and like I love it. Again, we touched on it last time. Jordan Love, like, dude, sit down.
Yeah.
I'm still doing more. Like,
They
I'm
just
not
put the
done.
chip on his shoulder, and he's like, I got this. You stay there.
You put the fire
Awesome.
under his ass,
Love
and
it.
he went.
I can't believe we've gone this far into football without talking about it. Juju Smith-Schuster's a fucking clown. Oh my god.
I would
How?
honestly
Like his TikTok dances, I've hated all year. It's been stupid, but whatever. Why on God's green earth do you light a fire under the Browns before the game with that stupid ass comment?
I don't know. Because he's ignorant, man. He's ignorant for sure. I feel like once you get to a Madden kind of cover, he didn't cover Madden, but once you get to like that kind of elite
star level, once you become
star
a star
level, you think you can just do whatever you want.
If you become a star wide receiver in Pittsburgh, your brain falls out of your head. It happened with AB.
Apparently,
it's happening here.
Plaxico Burress shot himself as a Steeler.
You're right. I forgot.
Done. Yep.
Man,
that's how mad he was. That's how insane he was in his head.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done. Bang
to the leg.
Put me in jail. Oh my god, man. Like, I get it, being confident in yourself, but to go out there and say the Browns is the Browns before the game, giving them like that's literally bulletin board material.
They're not the Browns. Like they're the best version of the Browns they've ever been.
I've never seen this seen this good of a Browns team in my lifetime. I'm 24 years old.
They have 2 of the best running backs in the game, and you put them together on an even split, and yet they still run the ball like 100 yards each. Yeah. It's insane.
And Baker still throws the ball sometimes.
Right. But you know what helps that too, man, is like I honestly think with OBJ out of the equation, they're just able to simplify the game and go, we are running.
Just throw it to someone.
We're running first and foremost. Yeah. And then we'll figure out when we have to throw. You know what I mean? Like we got a steady tight end. We have Jarvis Landry who just runs routes, like is an excellent
great
two, excellent 2, but like an excellent 2 option, but like can be a 1 option, and they're just balling out right now. Like, I don't think they're gonna win this week because it's just gonna be a shootout. But it's been fun to watch.
You get Chase Claypool, who comes out after the game the next day, and he's just like, oh, whatever. They're still gonna get their ass beat. Shut up! You lost. Go away.
Is that that's how petty it is, though.
And he doubled down on it yesterday. He came out yesterday and he's just like, oh, they were disrespectful, and I don't think they deserve my respect. You started it. Shut your mouth and go away.
Yeah,
like,
that's just how petty it is, though, man. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no. I would have congratulated them afterwards. Like, all right, man, you beat us. Like, if you want to talk that talk, then you got to back it up for sure. And they didn't.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
If you don't, just shut up. Like, I respect that Chase Claypool's Canadian.
Yeah.
But I don't like him anymore.
But he didn't really have he had a good
2
touchdown season. He didn't have a good receiving season.
No,
he didn't have a ridiculous
even the best rookie. He was probably not the second best rookie receiver in the game.
No.
Like, buddy, I get it. You guys all want to be that like cocky team and confident team that like, yeah, our receivers are great, but you just got your ass handed to you. You can't come out and be like, oh, well, they're still going to get beat. No. So what you're telling me is you would have got absolutely murdered in the next round.
Right.
Is what you're saying is you guys aren't even a real fucking team at this point because you just got your ass handed to you by this team that you're chirping. Still to this day.
I don't think they would have faced them.
No, they would have played the Bills.
Yeah, they would have just. But even still, the Bills would have handed them their lunch money.
Oh my god!
We lost the last like 5 games.
You suck. Plain and simple.
They were not
Pittsburgh
good.
Steelers suck.
Yeah, they pulled the wool over everyone's eyes.
They were the biggest pretender. I said it in like week 4. I'm like, this is a pretender. This is not a contender.
Yeah.
This looks like what the Patriots were last year. When
absolutely.
The Patriots looked great because they played nobody, and then lost near the end and sucked in the playoffs
and just couldn't do anything. First team they ran into with a running game just destroyed them.
Couldn't do anything to it.
Yep.
It's embarrassing.
Now the comeback was almost there, to be honest. Like a lot.
I think the Browns just gotta stop playing.
Absolutely, but like you can't just stop playing, and like that's.
They still won by 2.5 touchdowns, wasn't it?
Right, and like they're gonna get in a really good game. I don't think that it's a cakewalk for Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes is just until you prove me wrong on that KC team. Like you're not going to prove like
I
they're not
think
going down.
the Browns will run all over the Chiefs because their
Okay.
defense is good, but you just can't stop that Kansas City offense, especially if you're I think the Browns have a good defense. They're a good pass rushing team. Myles Garrett's an animal.
Dude, he's a beast. But
Denzel
like I
Ward's
feel
gonna be
like they've
back,
done a
which
good
is good.
job but they've done a good job to protect Patrick Mahomes. They do a good
Yeah.
job of having, the running back, chip block, tight end, even Kelsey, man. Kelsey getting open, he usually blocks before it and then goes
He's a
and gets
better
open.
receiver than a lot of receivers on most
Right.
teams.
Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, playoff Sammy Watkins. Good
They're
luck.
gonna be good. You gotta hope if you're a Browns fan that they can do what they did last week and just protect the hell out of Baker, because Baker had 3 years every time he had the ball to look around, just see his targets.
Yeah,
You're hoping that
I
can
don't think
continue.
you're gonna
But
get that though, man. Like I'm just trying to quick peek here, but like
Yep.
they have a much better like Frank Clark. That's what I was thinking of.
Mhm.
Unreal to get at the quarterback. Like he hauls ass in there. Chandler Jones, I think Chris Jones. Sorry, Chris Jones. Chandler Jones is on Arizona. Chris Jones too, very underrated.
Yeah.
Like just they both pressure, and Baker has shown that sometimes he doesn't make the best decisions under pressure. And I'm not saying that they're
To his defense, he's been really good since like week 5. He has
yeah,
he's thrown
absolutely.
one
And they've
pick
given
since
him a
week
lot
5.
more time this year too than they have in any years prior. Like this
They've
is
also changed the playbook a lot. Like he's running a lot of like different plays that he's more comfortable with, it seems like.
for sure.
He's definitely turned himself around. I don't think the narrative of him like being this gunslinger that just throws wherever he wants is very accurate anymore.
He's not that player anymore, but if you
He
start
still
getting
has
into
that
like
possibility.
dude, Tyrann Mathieu I think he's a really smart player from behind there. Mix that with Sorensen and they both kind of create a really good safety net behind any of those corners.
Yeah.
And it's just they have pieces and they go behind. Like they're not saying we're going to keep you to 20 points because they don't need to, because Patrick Mahomes usually
he
can
can
give them
score
30.
45 every day.
Right. So that's
Tough.
where I think the game is just going to slip away. Like you can't shoot out with KC.
No, absolutely not. And that's what this team does, and it's going to be an interesting game in that route. Did you see the quote from Baker about their offensive line?
Oh.
So their offensive line was just disappeared. They had nothing left. So Joel Bitonio got COVID before, and he was like one of the only remaining offensive linemen left.
Right.
So Michael Dunn steps in to play for him, and Michael Dunn gets hurt. So after the game, Baker goes, "Yeah, we had Michael Dunn step in at left guard for Joel Bitonio." He goes, and then Michael got hurt, and some guy named Blake that I introduced myself to in the locker room before the game stepped in the fourth quarter. It's like they literally didn't know this guy before the game.
Blake Hance.
Blake Hance was, yeah. And then Jarvis Landry goes on the Pat McAfee show, and he's just like, I don't want to butcher the guy's name. I don't even remember. Number 65. He's just like, I think his name was Hance. It was Hance. And he goes, I literally introduced myself in the dressing room. Yeah. He's like, that guy's never been to a meeting. I've never seen this guy before in my life, but he went out there and stepped up. I'm like, that's awesome. I love that story. It's like, it's hilarious, man. It's the fact that they did what they did with that O-line. Unbelievable.
Do whatever, man. It's next guy up. That's just how it is. That's so funny, though, that they just like, you're introducing yourself. Hey, you're going to need to protect me tonight. And it's going to be a playoff game.
Hey, man, I'm Baker. Nice to meet you. Can you block that guy?
Welcome to one of the hardest games we're ever going to play because we hate each other.
Welcome to the NFL, kid. Get in there.
Yeah, exactly. Good thing Bud Dupree's injured, because otherwise it would have been TJ Watt and Bud Dupree. Like,
TJ Watt did nothing in that game.
I know.
I'm so happy about it.
I know.
Everyone was just like, oh, TJ Watt's coming back. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no.
He's trash.
Awesome. He was. I'd love to see him do better, too.
Dog pound, baby.
Dude, if I'm looking for a Texan to trade for, bring in the Watts together. All three of them would then play there, because the fullback brother is on Pittsburgh.
Another 2-letter name. Is it
EJ
Watt?
I don't know. No, I think he has a full name. No, he's got a full name.
Does he got a full name?
I think so. Let me look that up. Don't quote me on that.
I thought it was a 2-letter. It's a short name, though.
Is it?
Thought.
That's so funny, though. That
JJ
Derek.
TJ.
His name's Derek Watt. See, yeah, that's what I mean. He never stood a chance.
It's DK Watt. It's Derek Carl Watt for sure. For sure, DK Watt.
It's just Derek.
There's no way you're not giving him a 2-letter name.
Derek. There's JJ, there's TJ, and Derek. Derek never stood a chance anyways, okay? Let's just...
Who you got in this round coming up?
For which game?
Let's go. Let's go in order here. Let's go Bills Ravens. Let's have fun with that one. That's a good game.
Oh, you know what? I actually just submitted all my picks to. We have a little bet going on with a couple buddies. All right. I flip flopped. I took Buffalo in the end though.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be a close game. I think I took
it
the
like
Ravens.
a 27-23 score. Like
All right.
I just think that Buffalo's a little better prepared for Lamar Jackson to run, and that's where like
it'll be
they
interesting.
really.
Depends on what Buffalo defense shows up that makes a difference in that game, I think.
Yeah, but they hit hard, man, and they really know how to cover.
Yeah. Battle of the old men, Tampa Bay and what do you call it? New Orleans.
You know who I'm taking? Taking
Obviously.
the old Tom Brady, baby. Dude, that offense is too.
They're so good. And their defense is so good, man.
Right. Oh my goodness, we have
They're
to block
inconsistent.
Mike Evans. Okay, now we have to worry about Antonio Brown. Oh, that leaves Gronk in one-on-one coverage. Oh shit. Yeah. Okay, Chris Godwin is there now too.
You literally, there's 3 guys that you just can't give one-on-one coverage to because they're going to beat you every
day. They're
day.
Always going to be in one-on-one. At least one of them will always be in one-on-one coverage.
It's so tough. It's so tough.
Like, there's no way. And then Fournette's been serviceable.
Yeah, I think he does the job. Ronald Jones does the job.
Yeah, but they protect Tom Brady.
Shady comes in and does the job when he has to.
Right. I think, but that's just down there, Like they have a committee.
Yep. They're good.
And as you said, their defense. I got a lot of respect for that defense. Very like unnamed,
Yeah.
I think behind like
do it as a JPP is there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that's it though.
And then I just don't know anybody else.
The like 7 or 8 digit wonder.
Crazy.
He blew his hand. Isn't that crazy? He blew his hand.
Yeah, it's so nuts that he's still
like this
still a thing in the NFL.
Love, but before like the first year he came back, he had this huge like just wrapped up hand, and he didn't do anything. And I think it was because it added like 10 pounds to him moving.
Just using it as a club that just out quarterbacks and shit.
Yeah.
Obviously you're taking the Packers.
Yeah, I took the Packers.
And obviously you're taking the Chiefs too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, those are because I picked KC for my game. I picked Tampa Bay KC.
Okay. KC win it or Tampa Bay?
Oh, KC. I picked KC even at the beginning.
I just didn't pick KC because it's boring.
No, it's not. But it's not.
It's the right pick. But
until you prove me wrong, like that's the thing.
It's the right pick. You're right, but it's just boring.
And I don't want to pick 1 versus 1 like Green Bay versus Kansas City. I don't want to just say that, but like obviously
they've shown that they can lose in this year. I don't disagree with you there.
Going up against a Tampa Bay, like we've said, like it's going to be a good matchup. I think so. Green Bay, like if that's my next round, if that's correct. Do you have anything that differs? Like, are you pretty well consistent on that?
I took the Ravens.
Oh, okay.
They're just so hot right now. I could see them. Plus, it's going to be snowy. And
Lamar Jackson's so hot.
Yeah, but this is what I mean though, because it's going to be a snowy day, and like you're going to have to rely on the run game. And I take the Ravens run game over the Bills run game 11 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's true, but I have a lot of faith in Josh Allen this year. I think that
I don't disagree. They could easily win that game. Don't get me
adding Cole Beasley was just a really good move.
Yeah.
That he's like when they went and got him like 2 years ago.
As long as the snow doesn't hurt Josh Allen, they could win that game. I don't disagree. I agree with you on the Bucks. I agree with you on the Packers. I think the Packers and Chiefs are kind of gimmies. Just like I hope the Browns pull it off, but I don't think they can.
I'd love to eat my words on that, man.
Yeah,
if so, then I'm picking the Browns. Like Browns are going to the Super Bowl.
Dude,
that's it.
Man, if you beat the Steelers and the Chiefs in back-to-back weeks, absolutely.
Yeah.
Who's gonna beat them at that point?
I know. Then you got to go through Buffalo or Baltimore, but like, dude, that'd be unreal. Baltimore Cleveland
in the AFC Finals. That'd be so fun.
That'd be against what I picked completely, but I'm okay to be wrong on everything.
What have we not talked about? Baseball. Save the best for last.
Well, not the very last. We have that.
Oh yeah, right. We have our own things to do.
Mystery random question of the day.
First and foremost, we forgot to mention Tommy Lasorda last week. It kind of just slipped my mind. Obviously, when you see older people pass away, it's a little more expected. But this is one that's kind of like Tommy Lasorda was just such a legend in baseball, and he did so much for the Dodgers and just the game in general. It's just like it sucks to see him.
Yeah, when I quickly peeked it, his years spent with the Dodgers, I almost thought was his age, and I like had to double take it because it was like 71. Like he spent a ridiculous lot of time in that organization, and I was like, "What? He's so like young." And then it's like, "Oh, like way older than that, obviously." I was like, "Oh wow." Okay.
Some of his quotes are really cool too, like talking about the Dodger, like Dodger Stadium's his home, and like it's just it's tough. Obviously, everyone's got their time. It just sucks that his came up when it did, especially in this year where we seem to lose everybody.
And they just won the World Series too, man. Like,
Yeah,
at least you got to see that. Like,
that's what I mean. The last Dodger game he ever watched was them winning the World Series, so that's cool. You respect that.
But definitely is a big loss to the game.
Yeah.
You know, that's a real household name.
Yeah.
I feel like for even some of those people who grew up just around baseball and not actually in baseball, you know, like I wasn't the biggest baseball fan,
but
10 years ago, but you know the names, right? Like they're just names that stick around.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so that's the most sad news out of the way. Now to the other sad news that's not death related. Liam Hendricks, we talked about last podcast, signed with the White Sox for way too much money.
Oh my
so
God.
I'm not too disappointed we missed out on that.
18 million.
Oh my dude. Like,
jeez Louise.
As soon as I saw them, like, I'm like, oh no, Liam Hendricks. And then I saw the number.
Guy
like,
that's been DFA'd 3 times, was it? 4,
yeah,
maybe?
he's the best reliever in baseball. Don't get me
wrong. Now he's just no, absolutely. I'm not like, but he makes more money than Aroldis Chapman now.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, yeah, what? No, he's yours. I'm good. I was not paying that for Liam Hendricks.
No.
I was thinking like 10 a year. I was okay with. I'm like, 10 mil a year sounds cool for Liam Hendricks.
White Sox that's putting 18 into an arm.
That's insane.
Perfect. Good for you guys. Way to go. I'm proud of
you. That didn't hurt that much.
Thank you for keeping our money in our pockets for other, hopefully other achievable players.
And today, DJ LeMahieu re-signed with the Yankees.
6 years?
This one hurts. This one hurts me.
Was it 6 over
6 years?
over
9.
6?
And like,
I heard they offered him, 78 over 4 was our highest.
Yeah.
You're feeling a little hurt by that one?
I heard it hurts because I think DJ LeMahieu was the best fit available for us. And at $90 million for 6 years, what is that a year? That's not
15.
Yeah, I was thinking like 25.
Less than Liam Hendricks is making.
You're literally paying him. Oh, it is 15.
Okay, but we offered him 19 and a half. And he turned down 19 and a half.
With 2 years left, but that doesn't bode well for the Jays.
No, that really hurts.
Because
like kind of leaving it the way that they explained it at the beginning of all this, when you heard about the Jays are here, Jays are there, Jays are there, it's like the team with the most potential to walk away with with having nothing is the Jays, and it's really, really looking that way.
But it's not for lack of effort. Like, that's a lot of money they offered him.
Yeah, absolutely.
They probably offered money to Liam Hendricks, but I'm not paying that much for Liam Hendricks. They might have offered money to Bauer by now. We don't know.
Right, but they know that they've offered.
They talked to Springer too. Is another one.
They offered it to him, I thought.
Yeah. And so it's not for lack of effort. They're offering the money. Just nobody wants to come here right now, apparently. Mm-hmm. That sucks. It hurts.
It does hurt. And especially, I think, like, do you think that playing, like, not knowing where you're going to be,
probably hurts.
Because they're not going to be up here.
No.
I could see them at spring training.
You're moving around for at least the first 2 years of your career.
Yeah.
Because you got to go from wherever your team is now to probably Buffalo or Dunedin, and then you got to go back to Toronto next year. And
how are you going to go to Buffalo if they have their AAA team?
Yeah, I don't know.
If the Bison are running, you can't go there.
Yeah, I don't know what.
So now you got to go. You have to go to Dunedin.
Yeah.
And play in, or
but
you
then
have to
what
go
if Dunedin's running? Like, you don't know.
Right.
It's going to be tough.
That's what I'm saying. You'll have to go to a spring training facility that is not used.
I think that definitely plays into their thought process.
Yeah.
It sucks. I hate it.
Yeah, but one person they did sign.
Yeah, we did something good.
Kept them.
Mark Shapiro got extended for 5 years.
Love it.
I don't think there was a dollar value that came out. You know what?
Right.
I was a big Mark Shapiro, Ross Atkins hater when they first came, and they did a terrible job. But the last 3 years, I think they've built a really good program here.
I think they've done a really good job rebuilding the.
Yeah. The prospect pool is crazy. Like, it's deep. They got a lot of. They're like top 5 in the MLB, I'm pretty sure, for prospects. And their team right now is arguably a playoff team.
But did you not? We saw them do that in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like, how many players did we list off last episode?
We are not Cleveland. We are very not Cleveland, and we have the money that Cleveland doesn't. So that the thing with me is just spend that money, and then you could still be a playoff team.
And they've
created a playoff team.
And they're trying.
And now they're trying to spend the money.
But they're trying to spend, and they're trying to be smart about it, though, with still like not getting themselves backed into a corner. Where we went, because like we've seen this team go all in before and come up short, and then watch it just kind of disappear. And I feel like we've turned around a lot quicker than most people expected.
Yeah, this was a very quick rebuild.
Right.
There was only 1 year where everybody jumped off and was like, "This team sucks."
Yep.
So I'm happy with that. I'm glad they brought him back. I think 5 years should be nice. They have a chance to win a World Series in that 5-year window. A chance.
I think
Not a great one.
You got to bring in
a name or two.
A couple more. Yeah, I would like to see at least 1 or 2 more names pitching, whether that comes from the farm or whether that comes from free agency. You know what I mean? Like getting Trevor Bauer, if you go that route, that jump starts it.
Yeah.
But I think, settling for a James Paxton, let's say, that doesn't put you much.
Push the needle.
That
but
doesn't
I think,
really, yeah.
Obviously, the development of Nate Pearson is going to be big.
You hope to see it.
You have guys in the minors that can do it. I don't know if they can become studs, but I think that pieces are there, and they're just like 1 or 2 pickups away from being a World Series contender in that 5-year run.
And I think
I could see it.
Like, dude, getting George Springer now gives you a little more outfield depth
if
to trade with, even if you want to, right? Like, you can now go and Randall Grichuk becomes expendable.
Yep.
If he's not able to hit, and if he's
even JT Realmuto still exists, and if they can bring him in, they have trade pieces, and there's things they can do. Right. I'm not holding out hope at this point because we are missing out on a lot of guys because they just don't want to come here. It looks like.
And I look around at the teams and none of them to me scream that they want a catcher. Right.
That's the biggest target for me. Is I think the only 2 teams in that mix are us and the Phillies.
Especially a catcher for that much. There was obviously when the Mets went out and got, what was it, James McCann? I think it was who they first signed. That to me already said we're looking elsewhere. We know that we've got Lindor more in the bag. I feel like they knew then they had more in the bag than they were willing to give away.
Yep.
So
I think there's not a lot of teams out there looking to spend a ton of money on a catcher, and I think I'm okay with it, man. If it brings in JT Realmuto, because it's not just bringing in JT, it's allowing you to trade those other catching prospects and pieces that you have.
And stars as well that would love the opportunity to play with a guy like JT. That also attracts more names to your system. So it's a good move, I think, getting at least 1 star. I'm not convinced George Springer does that if we were to sign him. Obviously great addition, but I'm not convinced that you can get some maybe Houston stragglers at the end of it. But I know you'd be thrilled about that.
Yay.